Blog Talk Radio. Hi, and welcome to The Art of Film Funding. I'm your co-host, Claire Papan, along with Carol Dean, author of the best-selling book, The Art of Film Funding. Carol is also the founder and president of From the Heart Productions and the host of this show. Our very special guest today is Alex Gocke. He's a producer, screenwriter, and business executive in Sacramento, California. He has a bachelor's in finance and an MBA from Holt International Business School. He spent over a decade for the global cinema projector leader Largo Project, managing the industry's largest global cinema projector digital conversion, scaling multiple businesses, and developing novel branding and marketing campaigns. Alex was a producer for an independent film and has written 4 screenplays. Currently, he serves as VP of Sales for Largo.ai, where he enjoys empowering independent filmmakers with data insights to elevate the creative and business potential of their respective films, TV, and documentary projects. And Carol from the Heart has a partner, has been a partner with Largo.ai for over a year now.
Absolutely, Claire. It's one of our greatest assets, and we thank you so much, Alex, for joining us. We have a lot of things we want to cover today. We want to learn all about you and Largo and how this benefits filmmakers. So thank you very much, Alex.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the time here. Thank you.
Well, let's get into Largo and what your role as Vice President of Sales, just what does that entail? And we'll get into some of the key goals and objectives that you have for Largo. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, so my role at Largo, VP of Sales, I oversee the sales team where we're working with independent filmmakers to Hollywood studios, European studios, a lot of overseas studios, streamers, distributors, et cetera. And what we provide overall is predictive analytics using AI to help elevate the creative and financial craft of the industry, if you will. And so that comes in a variety of reports, such as we do some qualitative analysis, meaning that we have our own patented model because we're out of Lausanne, Switzerland with EPFL University, think the MIT of Switzerland. So we're actually a spin out from a very research-driven institution. And through all that R&D and teamwork with PhDs and, industry leaders, our analytics look at screenplays through a very unique lens where we're providing some genre mix reports. We predict audiences' emotional response in terms of positive emotional tone, emotional intensity. We have a casting tool where you could actually it will actually recommend different casting choices. And then on the financials, we do everything from box office predictions with up to 80% accuracy to some streaming forecasts, and then we have an overall packaging. So we're really a one-stop shop for small to large filmmakers to get their projects to market faster and better.
Oh, this is wonderful. Yes. It gives the filmmaker an understanding of the emotional intensity of the script. Let's start with that, which I find very important. And in fact, it not only gives you the, on a scale of 1 to 10, it gives you a number to work from. It also pinpoints just where in the script the intensity falls off, where you might improve it, right? Can you address that for me?
Yeah, exactly, Carol. So at a macro level, it provides an overall score. And the thing is it's in terms of emotional intensity, which looks at all the key story points. It then looks at the primary emotions. This is all based on research, right? There's 3 positive types of emotion: joy, trust, and surprise. There's 4 negative: disgust, sadness, fear, and anger, and then neutral. And so what the system does is it evaluates using these emotions. It breaks it down into the major story points and determines what is the strength of those emotions at those key story points. And so that is what, at a macro level, you get an overall score. And then to your point, you could download it as an Excel document, if you will. There's many reports you could run from the system. And then you get a firmer understanding of, at a section-by-section level, where might you be weak, or maybe you're over-concentrated and neutral at certain parts because you're, overly expository or something, right? So it does raise some potential red flags in terms of where your content sits. And then the other part to this is everything's relative, right? So when you're comparing the project, you'll then get a comparison of your project versus, 10 others, 20 others, depending on what package and whatnot. Meaning, hey, if you have the film, let's say Forrest Gump, and then you have a comparable film that comes up, you see how your project Forrest Gump fits relative to another project in terms of these same scales. And that way you're comparing apples with apples, and that way you're then empowered to take this data and provide it in front of investors, distributors, et cetera, to indicate where it's positioned relative to projects that are very familiar to these providers. So, yeah, it's a helpful tool.
Well, it is very helpful. And the key fact here is for filmmakers to understand that you don't in any way keep their scripts or use any part of it. You've already stored thousands, I guess, of award-winning scripts to use, right? Can you talk about your database and how that works somewhat?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. So to address the first point there, so we do not train our AI model on client data. So just want to be very clear for obvious ethical reasons and whatnot, right? So they're intentionally kept separate in terms of, Amazon Safe Secure Web Server where it's stored. And then in terms of our actual training model, we've trained on over 400,000 past projects, so 250,000 film, 150,000 TV shows. Within that film category, there's also documentaries, if you will. And those are based on projects that have gone into production, so they've sort of entered the public sphere, if you will. And then what our system does is it has learned from those the different content patterns, as well as the budget levels. And it's that formulation that's updated on a monthly basis using APIs, meaning we're automatically pulling information into the system, so it's constantly relearning and adjusting based on market trends. It takes that data, compares it to your project, and that is the basis for the prediction.
And this type of information that we're getting from Largo is being used by the studios to make major decisions, studios and streamers and major production companies, right?
Correct. So we can't speak to individual names for NDA confidentiality reasons, but we do have many Hollywood studios, European studios, folks in Latin America, Australia, Canada, using our services both at a major studio level, distributor level, but we do find a lot of benefit in our independent filmmakers as well. So this way, what we're seeing in the marketplace in general and hearing constantly from feedback from clients is there's an increasing bar in terms of when you're packaging and presenting a film to investors, distributors, et cetera. Everybody's using more advanced data analytics now. And so then there's a higher expectation when you go to present that, hey, the log line story, this is our team, here are the tax rebates, locations, budget breakdown, et cetera. You need to have the fundamentals, but then this provides an even more advanced presentation to them to understand where your project is positioned relative to what's come before, and just to speak from a pure business standpoint, de-risk it in the eyes of somebody who's investing in your project. So,
absolutely, and that is so beneficial. Great. So I love the return on investment because I think that lets people know immediately what the value of the film is to them and to potential investors, because I work with people more or less when they're looking for money. And this is a major tool for raising funding for your project. So the return on investment also, some of our people have found that they need, when they ran the report, that they forget about theatrical. They'd make more money by doing this and that and the other. You give them guidance on distribution and even where to go. You recommend studios, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Carol. So the return on investment section, so it looks at everything from the overall financial waterfalls, meaning the system predicts box office predictions along with some of those cost elements, right, like the exhibitor share, distributor share, sales agent fees, things like that. And we provide industry norms, so if people have better deals in place, they could override it to their suiting. We provide some of the streaming forecast. We also do some of the TV revenue, ancillary like DVDs, sales, et cetera, subtracting out some of the costs. And so the intention of that overall financial page is you get a clear snapshot of what is the overall financial potential of your project. There's a separate section which is linked into it, which is where you can put your funding mechanisms, meaning you could indicate, is it soft money, hard money? Do you have a co-production deal with somebody out of Canada? Do you have a gap loan, product placement, et cetera? And we make the tool flexible. So if you have something unique to your needs where you have a special funder, you could put it in there. And then there's a third section which links into the funding page, which shows your return on investment. And so how that works exactly is if you could run different what-if scenarios through the system, basically. So say, is it a $2 million film or does it bump to $4 million because you have William Dafoe? And then you could do different what-if scenarios of, hey, is it worth pursuing as a $2 million film or $4 million with William Dafoe? And you could actually show the return on investment to different investor scenarios in the system. So it's all linked together. And that way, as you go to negotiate talent and, people get busy and you can't get certain people attached, et cetera, then it gives you the flexibility to move and adjust to the market mechanisms. So that way you could package it the best possible way.
This is really great. Thank you very much for that. And you have 3 times a year at the American Film Market, Berlin, and Cannes, opportunities for those people who have run a report on Largo. You choose 60 filmmakers per year that get to pitch 20 at each film festival. So tell us about that. I think this is marvelous. It's a great way for filmmakers to reach a massive audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, so the events themselves, so like you mentioned, European Film Market Berlin in February, Cannes Film Festival in May, and American Film Market's our next one in Las Vegas now in November. And how that works, so we've been doing these for years now. So we have a major market presence. We're a part of the official schedules with all these festivals. And so what we then do is a few months prior to the event, we open application to our community of Largo.ai clients. And we say, hey, we're going to have this pitch competition. We're going to select 20 people. And then we select them based on, nationality. We try to have a variety of gender, ethnicity, different types of projects, et cetera, and then also give priority to people who haven't pitched before, things like that. And then at the actual event itself, we promote it blasting to the entire community, targeting some of the distributors, buyers, people, financiers, et cetera. And then those events sell out very quickly. And so what we do is the events themselves sell out because we promote them on social media and such. We record the session. And then after the actual event, we also do a networking event where we try to have, we bring some select individuals that are within our community that are more on the film funding side of things. And then we try to make some introductions and connect people to get some things moving. So we have multiple projects I can't speak to right now that are moving along quite well. And so we'll have some good press and other things coming out soon on those topics. But it's a great opportunity for filmmakers to take center stage and have 3 minutes to pitch themselves. With our great partnership with you guys, From the Heart, you do some pitch coaching, make sure that everybody is concise and impactful in their presentation. And that way, when they deliver their presentation, they have addressed the key vision for the project and a mitigated risk, right? So that way, if somebody's in the stands who wants to find out more, then we connect them. And then those projects are posted on our AI Connect marketplace, and we provide links to that with all of the people in attendance as well as people at the show to make sure there's maximum visibility to projects afterwards.
Yes, that's very beneficial to filmmakers because this is seen all over the world, and that's wonderful. And by the right people, the producers, the directors, the distributors are all looking at your product. So first, Alex, tell us how people can reach you.
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to give a catch-all email just because we have a global team, and depending on where people are, we could allocate follow-ups from there. It's info, I-N-F-O, at Largo.ai. And then from there, we'll have a mechanism of, depending on the interest and what you're looking to do, happy to set up calls for dive deep in the system, learn what projects people have going on, and then we could find the right package that suits, where they're at in their journey.
Great. Now, tell us what your filmmakers say they like the most about your reports.
Yeah, happy to. So we have a variety of clients using our services. I'll say that from the standpoint of there's different dessert preferences, if you will. So, we have everyone from studio folks, development execs who evaluate a lot of IP and so forth to independent filmmakers. And so the financials are constant. When we've done internal surveys and such, financials are emphasized for helping people position things better in the marketplace. So those are some of the streaming numbers, the box office predictions, things like that. The qualitative feedback also help in terms of, hey, I didn't know my film needed work in this area. And so it's definitely, we've heard repeated feedback of this has really helped me to go back to enhance my script and before I spend too much money in budget breakdown or elevating it in different ways, it's a good sniff test to see where it is. And the other side to the tool, speaking more to development execs and early on in pre-production, is our tool can evaluate either screenplays or treatments. And so we even have some people that come in and go, hey, let me put 3 different treatments in that are, 3 to 5 pages written. And then then the system will give some general financial recommendations. Where does it land? And then it might save them time in terms of where do they place their focus. And so for more development exec types, studio types, they might use a tool more in that manner to then decide, hey, should we commission somebody to write a screenplay, or is this going to have the intended audience that we thought? So it's really, different desserts for different folks.
Right. Exactly. I think this is brilliant. The thing of it is that when people contact From the Heart and we start talking about funding, my first question is, did you get coverage on your script? And they say, oh, yeah, I had 3 friends read it. They loved it. And I say, okay, that's good. But the next step is to get professional coverage before you go out and start raising money. And so they're reticent to do that because they don't trust most people, and there are some really good people who give you great feedback, but I think this is great because there's no human. I mean, I'm sure it took humans to input all of this information, but you're getting a report back from that's analytical. It doesn't have any emotion in it, so that there's no way that you should be hurt. You should be thrilled that you're looking at your script is being compared to 250 other scripts. That's what I love. And so what you're getting back is only to help you improve it. And that takes away a lot of the worry. Is there anything personal going on here? No, it's all based on known data. It's great in that respect.
Thank you.
And you have a platform where you promote filmmakers and their films. So you mentioned that in talking about the 3 film festivals, but tell us more. People, when they apply and when they use your service, they get on a platform and they stay there until they're funded, right?
Yeah, so we have a program, part of our platform called AI Connect, and it's optional. First off, some people don't want that visibility because they have their own means of bringing things to market. But Fundamentally, people, our clients, can post their projects on there, and then what we do is those three market events to help elevate the projects, help get more people interested in them. And then what we're finding increasingly, if we look back probably last year or so after, some of the AI strikes, not AI strikes, but some of the strikes subsided, right, where AI was one of the heart issues, especially among talent, and for the right reasons, right, is that there's an increasing interest in using AI in every form, basically, when it comes to selecting films to bring to market. And so where we're in a place now where a lot of private equity, VCs, film funds, which are different ways of mitigating tax obligations, let's say, in different countries, those are a lot of the funders these days. These are all institutions that are very data-driven. They're all about mitigating risk and so forth. And so my point being and bringing this up with respect to the AI Connect marketplace is then we have those sorts of providers increasingly interested in our services now. So we're going to be bringing, a lot more those types of providers and so forth into the community as we're seeing increasing interest in them. And then we'll also have some announcements on some film fund partnerships and things to come very soon, actually. So that's where we're trying to go, because that's where we're getting feedback on, both from our clients as well as people that our clients take our data and then sometimes they go pitch to these providers, these film fund types, and then the film fund types are like, wait a minute, I want to learn more, and then they come to us. So it's creating a bit of a virtuous momentum, if you will, through those relationships.
Oh, this is wonderful. Good. Well, can you share some success stories or examples where Largo significantly impacted the film or a project?
Yeah, and we have them as part of like some follow-up case studies and whatnot. So within those materials, there are films like Minority, The Father have both gone through the system earlier on in our early form of tools. More recently, like we had some of our clients pitch at not EFM, at Con a few months ago, and they referenced how some of their earlier projects came to the marketplace based on some of the analytics and helped get a lot of people engaged in that. With respect to the AI Connect marketplace, it's still relatively new, and so we have a lot of projects that are moving along that we're just waiting for the final funding to drop or talent to be attached, and so we have multiple meetings and press releases that are sort of pending some agreements coming to fruition. So that's where we're trying to, get those posted publicly, have some more champion type projects like that. And then, like I was referencing, we have more people interested on the funding side to come into play as well. So a lot of positive momentum to come there.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Won't that be marvelous? I can only imagine to know that someone with money is going to be reading your report. And if they're looking for something like a comedy right now or a major thriller, true crime stories seem to be very popular. They might pop in with their money because they can see electronically that it meets all the requirements for a successful film. So now let's talk about documentaries. How does it work for a documentary? Let's say that you don't have a 90-page script. You may have a general outline of the film. Can you run something like that?
Yeah, it does. So for the documentary portion, so it's similar to, because you basically have, I realize documentaries come together in different forms, or sometimes you figure it out in the post room of how, the story sort of evolves on its own, and you're sort of depending on your approach to docs. And but fundamentally, you could put a treatment. So if you have a general synopsis of documentary, the vision, a general sense of what's going to happen, and some hypotheses, if you will, what the system will do is it'll evaluate that. It'll still provide, okay, this is the genre space it lives in. Here are some of the emotional responses. This is how it fits relative to other documentaries that have come before in terms of the genre and emotions. And we also predict the target audience. So the expected gender and age of the audience broken down into 5 different quadrants with 5 different sections. So you could see who is it going to impact. The casting side of our tools is not enabled unless you have dialogue in there, because it just requires dialogue and dialogue headers, et cetera, for the AI model to interpret from that. But fundamentally, you'll get the basis of the qualitative, who is the expected audience, the streaming potential in terms of viewership numbers and potential licensing fee attached to that. And so that way, if you are going to a PBS or you're going to a funding agency, you're showing right away, here's the target audience by gender and age, here's the topic, how it fits relative to other documentaries, here's the viewership potential based on some of the market trends we're seeing out there, because we use AI to monitor some of the trends on the streaming stations in terms of types of content. We match that with millions of impressions on social media in terms of, hey, what is trending out there in terms of topics. And we also look at some audience ranking scores, which is a pretty complex methodology for determining some of the viewership numbers there. And then the new side of our tool, which further helps it, we have a simulated focus group testing tool, which we're just, we announced at Con, we're rolling out now. So we have an advertising side to our business where we work with brands, and we've done concept development on brand ideas to some storyboarding type elements to even simulated focus group. What a simulated focus group means is that we've trained an AI model on real life people, tens of thousands of surveys in terms of understanding how real people would think, their likes, dislikes, backgrounds. We have them fill out demographic type of information. And then in this tool for documentaries as well as films and TV shows, you can then test out your idea in front of an audience of up to 500 saying, hey, how do you like this film idea versus these 5 others? And then what the tool will do is it will actually give you a likability score, which is sort of like an IMDb where it thinks it might land. And then there's also a thinkability score, which speaks to, hey, you've seen all 6 of these projects and you have $100. How would you allocate those $100 in terms of who you think within your community would go see it? So this speaks to some of the word of mouth, the virility, the groupthink type decision making. So that's a huge part now that we're rolling out. So that way our clients can demonstrate without even going to the very expensive method of an audience screening. This is way before that. They could test out in front of a simulated audience and then demonstrate to investors and so forth, distributors of, hey, this is the potential impact on audience members. So this is a new feature that we're getting very positive feedback on that could also help with documentaries.
Definitely help with documentaries and with art house productions, because there's a great film called The Red Shoes. Pressburger, all right, did that out of England. And Orion, thank heaven for Orion, they picked it up, and it had never been screened in the United States. So they took a theater in New York and hired it for 3 months to run this film. And it was audience-driven. They did very little marketing, but the audience brought in and the people, and it's become one of the world's, you'll find it on almost all the top 100 films. And so the point is, we need to see that they forget, theaters today are not interested in the word of mouth, that things arrive and disappear. At our Lemley here, which is our art house, they come and go too quick. So if you can look at some data that says this is the type of film that needs that will grow with word of mouth, your visibility grows with that, then people will have the courage to pay for, either do a pay or play or whatever they have to do at the theater to get it for a week, so that they do get the return of people talking to other people, because that's really how a lot of films hit the Academy Awards in prior years, was word of mouth. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great application of that, Carol. Thank you.
Yes, that'll work really well. Well, documentary filmmakers will be really pleased with this, because the only time that they might have any star power is if they get a voiceover superstar, someone whose voice is recognized. And I guess they could put that in the system too, correct? Correct.
And that will be, so part of the basis on the casting side of the tool is it determines what is the financial impact of having different levels of talent attached to it. And so we have a whole ranking system that speaks to that. And so exactly, so if they put in a project and has dialogue where it could interpret the impact of having that voiceover in their doc, then that is factored into the equation in terms of the viewership potential, the streaming potential, as well as box office if you are, happen to be releasing theatrically.
Right. And everything you've said applies to TV series, I agree, I imagine, right? Or are they any different?
No, the same tools, thank you for asking, the same tools apply for film as well as TV. So everything from the emotional analysis to the genre analysis to predicting the audience, gender and age, to casting tool, which indicates some of the financial impact and the suitability, frankly, because what that side of the tool does is it looks at the history, performances, what are the storylines, genres, emotions, et cetera, that an actor has done historically, and then it compares them with how the character is written in that project, and then it gives a content match based on that. So that factors in for the TV, the streaming numbers. And then for the focus group testing, the new side of the tool as well, you could also, in addition to seeing how your show is ranked relative to, say, 5 other shows, in terms of the bankability interest, the word-of-mouth recommendations, things of that sort, we also have a side to our tool in there where you could ask the audience questions, if you will. So you could say, hey, what is the show trying to say for thematic messaging? Hey, is this show binge-worthy? And so you could get additional feedback there because increasingly, especially in TV land or streaming land, if you have any sort of series, the binge-worthiness is what everybody looks for, right? And so if you could demonstrate right away using that tool, hey, this is the next Modern Family, and it's just at this level in terms of likability and so forth, and then you are empowered to take that data and then to put it in your presentation for your next meeting with streamer, distributor, et cetera.
Oh, yes, that's really valuable. Well, talk to us about how Largo determines the streaming projections. Do you have enough data on the industry to tell us what we can expect if we use one of the streamers? And you actually break it down by streamer, don't you?
Yeah. So there we look at the mechanism for determining it is we have proprietary method for evaluating your project in terms of some of the genre landscape, emotions, major storylines, importantly, right, and above the line attachments. And so from there, we compare it with what's out there, right? And so we're continuously monitoring some of the viewership patterns along with viewership patterns of the different types of content. We use the same base method of content that's out there, comparing it what's trending on the streamers through our own proprietary mechanism of evaluating compared to your project. And we also look at some social media noise, basically different trends that are across, like, hey, what's trending right now across the X and Facebook and those of the world, or is it zombies, climate change, Jane Austen, et cetera? And then you have a good sense as to how your project's positioned relative to what's out there, and that's what informs some of our viewership models. We're basically getting a sense of what's trending on viewership, what's trending on the social sphere, if you will, and then also audience ranking scores is the third dimension. So the tool just gets a better sense of what's out there versus yours. That computes the viewership numbers, and then we do have a licensing value which says, well, based on these viewership numbers, what is a fair value for your content? And then we do break it down by streamer, which I could show people if they're interested further there.
Right. Well, what is the future? What are you coming up with in the near to distant future?
Yeah, so we're evolving the focus group tool is huge for us. We're seeing very positive feedback across, studios, distributors, independent filmmakers, et cetera. So that's going to continue to evolve in different ways, let's say in more video analysis and other things too. So that way we become more of a one-stop shop. So when you come into the platform, you package your film or TV show or doc as best you're able based on some of our tools and, getting feedback from industry, et cetera. And then once you actually go into production, then you can come back into the tool, rerun and reanalyze the final video. We do video analysis as well. And then from there, because our system is constantly being updated based on the latest market trends and data and so forth, then say you don't have a distributor deal, or maybe you did in certain countries but not in others, then the tool gives you the analytics to then strike the best deal at that moment in time, because we know it's a rapidly changing marketplace right now, right, with all the major shifts in Hollywood, as well as, streaming becoming bigger and bigger as part of just general media consumption across audiences. And so this way our clients are empowered to get the most of their projects at that stage. And then the focus group tools, then you're that much more empowered to continue to enhance your project. And then we have some newer features that will launch later as well, let's say, that provide additional nuances to further enhance the creative potential. I'll just tease it there.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. Well, I'm hearing that England, for example, has like a 40% rebate if you shoot over there. Italy has they have just put in enacted their film discount program, and it's very good. So there's a lot of trends now for people looking to co-produce in Europe, right? And does that affect, can you find out information about that when you put in your application with Largo?
Yeah, so we provide, our general system provides the tools for analyzing the potential of the project. We don't necessarily provide an active database of these tax rebates and mechanisms, if you will. So it's more how we fit into that puzzle, if you will, is we do have a financing page. So say you do decide to film in the UK for your 40%, you could just type in 40% that's there, and then our tool will then factor that into the return on investment downstream to demonstrate, this is soft money, and hard money, you're going to get X return on investment on that hard money. So our tool is more, it's not assessing those latest market trends, but it does have the flexibility. So as you find the best way to, let's get somebody out of the UK 40%, and let's do a co-production with somebody out of Canada for the 35% telefilm, and I don't know how any conflicts there in terms of like what boxes you're checking. But as you get those partnerships, then you can put it in the system, and then it will update and show you the updated return on investment.
That's incredible. That's really beneficial. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, in closing, Alex, what else can you tell us about Largo?
I would just say that, we have a lot of new tools that are coming online. We have a lot of growth that's to come. I'll just tease there in terms of things you'll see coming out soon about us. So if anybody's attending AFM, we'll be part of the major event November 8th in Las Vegas, Beloved Palms. And I look forward to meeting people in person there. And then and that way you could get to see and hear Largo analytics and from actual clients using our services, and then you'll see some new things come out as part of that as well. Let's say I'll just leave it there.
Oh, that's a lot of fun at AFM. So thank you. Yes, we'll all be there. We're not going to miss that. It's always a highlight of the convention is your pitch session. And then afterwards, you always have great parties, good restaurants, good food, a lot of people of interest. You bring in all the people who pitched, usually show up, as well as some very high net worth individuals for your funders. And thank you for that.
No, thank you, Carol, and thank you for having me here. And this is what we're all about, is helping out the community, indie filmmakers to bring their projects to market faster. So appreciate you.
Oh, how kind. Thank you. We think Largo is great. It's so beneficial for filmmakers. It gives them the ideas and support and technology. It's using technology to really support writers and independent filmmakers. So thank you, Alex. And one more time, just tell us how they can reach you.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. Yeah, so for follow-up, it's info, INFO, at Largo, LARGO.ai. And from there, we could schedule meetings or dive deeper into anything discussed or to field any general questions.
Thank you. And Claire, thank you very much. And Alex, we've just learned so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Claire. Have a good day.
All right.
You're very welcome. All right. Be well, everyone. Now, in its second edition, Carol Dean's popular book, The Art of Film Funding, has 12 new chapters to cover all areas of film financing and how to avoid expensive pitfalls. Learn how to start with an idea and end with a trailer, how to make an ask for money, create your story structure and your trailer, legal advice, fair use, successful crowdfunding, how to ask for music rights, and what insurance you can't shoot without. Available on Amazon under Carol Dean and at FromTheHeartProductions.com. I want to remind our listeners that David Raiklin is a brilliant and talented award-winning musician who scores films and can compose music for a trio or for a full orchestra. David is a very good friend to the independent filmmaker and comes highly recommended by From the Heart Productions. If you need music to help tell your story, please contact him at davidraiklin.com. That's David, RAIKLEN.com. And Carol and I want to thank you for tuning in to The Art of Film Funding. Please visit our website at FromTheHeartProductions.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Good luck with your films, everyone.
When you're part of a military family, you understand sacrifice and support. At American Public University, we honor your dedication by extending our military tuition savings to your extended family. Parents, spouses, legal partners, siblings, and dependents all qualify for APU's preferred military rate of just $250 per credit hour for undergraduate and master's level programs. American Public University. Value for the whole family. Learn more at apu.apus.edu/military.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. BGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.